Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I would like you to meet the newest member of our family. His name is Atlas. He is a 15-week-old, cross between a blue healer and a red healer. He is very, very high energy. He's very cute if you can see him. Oh, I know you're not used to doing cameos, are you? He loves chew toys. Here we go. We brought him into our life not quite a week ago, and he's settling in nicely. Nova, the black and white cat, is tolerating him, and Twyla, the little black girl, has taken to mastering her swipes at him. He just wants to play, and she's like, I haven't decided if you're going to be my brother or not. Okay, off you go, little boy. Go on. Try not to break my house. Or my camera. Boy, there you have it, eh? Okay, so before I go any further, on a more serious note, I want to thank all of you for the incredible, amazing support that you have shown me and my family over the last couple weeks. We know that Coco has made the transition. We know she's in a good place. As with most people who grieve, it is the holes, right? It is the spaces that are hard to, um, you know, fill. And you're not really trying to fill them as much as you're just trying to process the fact that they're there and they shouldn't be. But I do thank you very, very much and most sincerely. So I thought I would take a look today at a couple things. I want to take a look at how good old Kevin McCarthy's doing. I want what a humiliation that poor guy went through to become speaker, and talk about being literally hamstrung, by his members. He's not going to be able to get away with a whole heck of a lot of anything that they don't want him to do. And what they want him to do is tear down the government. So this is going to be an interesting, kind of period of time. I do want to say this, though. Let's not forget that one of the things that needs to happen is that those old structures do need to come down. They need to be rebuilt in a way that is more in keeping with what the world is now, what is acceptable now, what the vast majority of people want the world to look like and be like and function like. So there has to be some tearing down. And I guess what Trump started, those Republicans are determined to finish. So we have to bear that in mind. Listen, this is the deal, right? Now, normal is chaos. Just as simple as that. If things were crazy and chaotic when Trump was in office, the difference is right now what you're dealing with is people who have some political savvy. Not a lot of them, and not a lot. You have now people who have no threshold for that is low enough to avoid hypocrisy. Okay, these people are perfectly willing to say the sky is blue and blink and say the sky is purple. Okay, they just, that's what it is. So let's take a look at Kevin McCarthy. I also want to take a quick look and see how Trump is doing. I want to take a quick look at this George Santos guy from Long Island, who apparently, allegedly, I don't know how to say this. Like, apparently, he just couldn't tell the truth if his life depended on it. Nothing that he says can be substantiated. And I think I want to take a quick look at Biden and these documents. I think that Merrick Garland creating a special counsel, particularly a special counsel led by somebody who was appointed by Trump, was a very smart and savvy move. And, I'm not thinking that anything's actually going to come of it, but we'll take a quick peek. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with McCarthy. Here we go. Kevin McCarthy and GOP. McCarthy and GOP. McCarthy and GOP. Okay. We're starting off with the High Priestess. So this is about, interestingly, this is about the Republicans' desire to uncover secrets, but they know there aren't any secrets to be uncovered. So really what they're about is just causing a lot of noise, a lot of distraction. They're all about just slowing everything down to like a glacier pace. But you have temperance here. And this is interesting because I think part of what you're going to see is sort of a slowing down or a tempering of the GOP expectations. McCarthy is never ever going to be a strong leader or a strong ruler, but it will stand, okay? Um, the guardrails will stand, the laws will stand, and they're going to receive a significant amount of pushback if they really, really try to become too radical. The next two cards are incredibly telling in terms of what Kevin McCarthy's going through and what things look like going forward. You have the Nine of Swords followed by the Tower, followed by the Two of Pentacles. So what you have here is somebody who is very well aware that he is in an incredibly precarious situation. He's not in a good place, and his members let him know that on a probably moment by moment basis. Apparently he did a press conference and completely humiliated himself when he was sort of incapable of answering a basic question after he made this nonsense speech about how his house is going to be nonpartisan, and there was you couldn't find anybody more partisan than Nancy Pelosi. Cough cough. They're going to be so bent on destroying what's in front of them, they're actually not going to realize that they're destroying themselves. McCarthy's got an impossible job of trying to juggle, and he's not going to do well. Ultimately, he's going to leave. It won't be long before there is a vote against him, and he's going to have to leave because his leadership will be challenged, and then you're going to see the fighting and the chaos and the crazy. Okay? I can tell you energetically, intuitively, I think within a year, maybe less, somehow, some way, the House is very likely to flip back to the Democrats. He has such a narrow margin. And some of the stuff that sort of that mega group want to do, I think they're going to find resistance from other more balanced, if you will, GOP members. I don't know what causes, because what is it? It's 4 seats, right? I don't know what causes those 4 seats to be lost, but I have a feeling they will be. So that'll be interesting to watch that unfold. But, I am warning you, right? It's going to be a little bit crazy, and you have to ensure that you don't let the anxiety and the worry and the stress get to you. Remember that the Senate and the White House are still controlled by the Democrats, and they are controlled by Democrats and a president who has a great deal of political savvy and experience. Okay, so that's what it looks like going forward with the GOP. You can expect the next few months to be really, really kind of crazy. It sort of feels to me like mid-March or so, things may start to settle down, but the next 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks, a little nutsoid. All right, let's take a quick look at Trump. It looks like Bonnie Wills is looking, I guess right now she's making decisions about indictments against Trump in the Georgia situation. So let's take a look at how Trump is doing. Apparently I haven't been paying a great deal of attention, obviously, but apparently his statements are becoming more and more and more deranged. And apparently he lashed out at Jack Smith, calling him, I think it was a terrorist. And, he hasn't stopped. Apparently, he's still going after his wife, his kids, family, friends, whatever. I mean, Trump is just spiraling right out of control. So let's just take a quick look and see how he is doing, particularly as this whole Georgia indictment thing seems to be rolling closer and closer. Here we go. Trump current state, Trump current state, Trump current state. I love this. Okay, so we're starting with the devil and the Nine of Wands. Okay, so what you have here is how he's feeling, how he is coping. He is doing, I have often said, if you look at the word devil and you spell it backwards, it spells out the word lived. So very often when I see the devil card, I don't really see it as some of the more typical meanings that the card has. I very often will see it as somebody who is just living their life backwards or just doing things backwards to their own good or to the highest good. And so, what he is doing is everything that could possibly harm him, everything that could make his legal situation worse. He's doing. He's out there screaming from the rafters. He keeps sending out well, not tweets, but messages, I guess, on True Social. He's still attacking E. Jean Carroll. Like, you're already being, sued for saying that. Why do you keep saying it in written format? Particularly all this time since you have not been president, because that doesn't even sort of qualify as under presidential work. But he's out of control. The more he feels trapped, the more he feels those walls closing in, the more frightened and sorry, out of control he becomes. And this is why. There has been a lot of very hard, very meticulous, very careful work done in Georgia. She is not taking this situation lightly. She understands the impact and the ramifications of what she's taking on and doing. But man, she's got it all lined up. And she is going to ride to victory because ultimately it is going to be the law that brings Trump to a stop. All right. So we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Five of Cups. So, you have Trump doing everything backwards, hurting himself, injuring himself. He opens his mouth and he makes it worse. It's just as simple as that. You have her with a very strategic, very clever, bulletproof almost case. And ultimately, that is going to result in loss and disappointment for Trump. So I don't know. Energetically, I suspect that those indictments will probably roll out before the end of January. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear about them within the, next week, 10 days kind of thing. But definitely they're on their way. I don't get any indication that she is not going to indict. Okay, that definitely looks like it's sort of a foregone conclusion. Alrighty, I want to take a quick peek at that George Santos guy. My God, what is his story? I can't quite, I haven't ever looked into his energy before, so this is going to be a fresh read on him. And honestly, I haven't paid a lot of attention to his energy because, there have been other things. So I'm going to swoop in and take a quick peek at him. Oops, I got stuff blank. Okay, these are just cards that flew. There's nothing significant there. I want to take a quick peek at him because this is the deal, right? McCarthy cannot do anything to boot him out of office. Okay, he can't. I mean, 5 years, well, maybe not 5, 10 years ago, this would have been so appalling that congressman would have left with in shame with his tail between his legs. Not so now. Not so now. There is, as I said, no low that is too low. So I want a little bit of an inside track on what's with this guy and sort of maybe where this looks like it's heading, because there's definitely an investigation going on. And I think actually there's four of them, and one of them, if I'm not mistaken, is out of Brazil. Here we go. He also apparently went on, oh, I don't know, the Steve Bannon show, the radio show, although Steve Bannon wasn't there because Steve Bannon was in court because of that whole stealing money for the Build the Wall deal, um, and said he's never told a lie. He has led a perfectly honest life. Okay, we're all entitled to our delusions. Tell me about George Santos. Tell me about George Santos. Tell me about George Santos. Okay, interesting. We're starting with Temperance, and we're starting with the the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So this is kind of curious, right? The Eight of Pentacles represents that this was something that he crafted, this image, he crafted it meticulously. Okay. This was not something he just, dreamed up one night. This is something that he was very, very strategic about. Okay. Super strategic. He had a plan. In some ways, it feels as if to him, it was almost a game, right? It was almost a game. It was see to what degree he could um, come across as sort of as one thing, as something that really palatable to Democrats and probably most um, independent voters. And under that, he was hiding an absolute, the polar opposite of what he was projecting. But he was very strategic and careful about how he projected it. And he worked very hard to sort of keep that balance. Well, now he's also working hard to really, really keep balance, but he's on a very, very slippery slope. The judgments are going to keep coming at him. They're not going to let go. He is going to continue to be judged and exposed. And it's going to be an incredibly, incredibly heavy burden that he carries. He's not going to let go easily. Make no mistake. This is not somebody who is going to be shamed into resigning next week. Okay. Um, he's going to do everything he can to hang on. And in order to do that, he is going to become McCarthy's best friend, right? He's going to, if McCarthy says, the sky is purple, he's going to be standing right there saying it's absolutely purple. Can't you see it's purple? Of course it's purple. Everybody knows it's purple. Because he recognizes that if McCarthy turns on him, he doesn't have the support he needs to stay. Ultimately, he'll be leaving. And it's interesting because it looks like he's going to be leaving because of money, either shenanigans with whatever happened in Brazil or fundraising here in the United States. Apparently, there was a significant amount, I think, of dark money or money that should not have been funneled to him in a legal way, right? So there's going to be something about money that brings him down, and the reality is he's just not going to be smart enough or clever enough to fight it. When the end comes, it'll come fairly quickly, and yeah, it will sort of end up being fatal to his career. But for now, he is hanging on. Okay, that's what you need to remember. For right now, he's hanging on, and nobody in the Republican Party is foolish enough to say, well, okay, there's a couple who are saying, listen, I don't care about the slim majority. The reality is this guy needs to go. He's everything, that we're not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But I don't know. It feels as if he's going to be around for a little while. Um, listen, it's investigations. They never move fast. Okay. So if I had to put a timeline on it, I would say probably the summer where the heat gets really, really turned up and he actually can't figure out a way um, to wiggle away from all of the problems he's going to have. He's going to have a lot of legal issues coming at him. And, he is not somebody who has the 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 wherewithal, I guess, to be able to fight off, multi-pronged attacks. Okay, and let's take a look at Mr. Biden, shall we? And let's see what is going to go on with those documents found. It's so different. I love the way. So, from what I understand, the Republicans were screaming and yelling about how is this so, this is terrible. He should be thrown in jail. This is outrageous, outrageous, outrageous. Never have they seen such a breach of security documents. But apparently they're singing a slightly different tune now because the guy that's heading up the investigation, the special counsel, I guess, is, as I said, somebody who was appointed by Trump. So they're kind of going, oh, okay, well, good. We got a Republican on our side that he's going to take care of it. He's going to toast him. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that he will do what he needs to do according to his position. Let's not forget the whole Eileen Cannon debacle is still ringing in people's ears about what happens when you align yourself too closely to Trump. Oh, and hold on. Okay, so I just got that before we actually see Trump indicted, do not be surprised if there are not indictments that come out slightly before. I don't think a lot before, but slightly before for other people who were involved in that, whether it is the Rudy Giuliani's or whether it is the Meadows or, who that female lawyer, whatever that, I can never remember her name. I think it's a mental block. So anticipate that first, followed then by indictments coming against Trump himself. Okay. let's take a look at President Biden. Let's take a look at that investigation. Let's see how that's just going to turn out. Alrighty, special counsel documents Biden. Special counsel documents Biden. Special counsel documents Biden. Yeah, he's going to be okay. So you're starting off with the Ten of Pentacles. So in this case, it is sort of, there's going to be information coming forward. There's going to be stuff, but it's going to shine favorably on him. And already we know that as soon as they found out, the stuff was immediately turned over to the FBI. He is completely cooperating with the FBI. None of this running around for a year and then needing to, issue multiple search warrants nonsense. Um, so this is a good thing. Yep, you know what? It's going to cause some worry and some anxiety, but I would venture to say, and it may go on for a while. Okay, this might last over the next several months. But what's going to happen is the more we hear about it, the more aggravated the sort of most majority of people are going to become about it, because they're really going to start seeing that this is, certainly by the GOP yelling, that this is really, really not helpful or productive, and frankly, not the same. One of the interesting things that has happened over the last couple of years is that the Democrats have learned better than they did how to fight and how to push back and how to, make the same kind of comments that the Republicans make, um, sort of without lying, or lying as much, maybe. So the Dems are going to be pushing back against kind of all of the nonsense that you can anticipate. So that's going to be helpful. In a lot of ways, people really just want the crazy to stop. And that's part of the reason that McCarthy is going to have a problem. And the crazier that members of the House get, um, the more they are absolutely destroying their chances of winning anything in the next election. And that they are so blindsided, they just can't see that what they're doing is like Trump shooting themselves in the foot. Okay, they can't see it, but everybody else can see it, because the people want things to calm down. They want things to stabilize. They want some of the stuff that was wrong fixed, but they want the crazy town to stop. It's enough. And it's going to be the wish of the people, frankly, that sort of bring that kind of craziness to an end. They're just not going to be anxious to put up with it. And meanwhile, you're going to have this infighting and this bickering going on with the GOP and House members, and you're going to have the demise of not one. They're going to go through a couple of speakers, maybe three, before the next election in 2024. Okay. So this is what you're dealing with here. All right. So as I said at the very beginning, um, it's crazy, chaotic, is going to be the new normal for a while. So we need to, eat our Wheaties, take our vitamins, buckle up. It's going to get a little bumpy. But you know what? It's going to be a bumpy that is going to ultimately produce results that are in keeping with the energetic changes of the people, not only of the United States, but of the globe. And of course, a lot the energies that are coming at us. Their behavior is simply not compatible with what is going to be transpiring on the earth and the earth's energy as we move forward. So, but keep calm, keep moving forward, and we'll get through it together, just like we always do. All right, I am starting once again to book private readings. Um, I'm booking sort of the last week of January and into February. The contact information is below me in the description box. It is soulprint888@gmail.com. Just send me out a request for information and I will send it back to you. For those of you who reached out to me personally with, personal um, emails, et cetera, I thank you so much. I got some beautiful, lovely sympathy messages, some cards. You guys are just amazing. And make no mistake, it is your support and your energy and the white light, everything that absolutely is helping us get through this kind of tough time. Okay, that's what I know for now. Until next time, which hopefully will be sort of midweek. I don't think I'm going to put out 2 videos next week, probably just one, and then I'll try to gear up again. But until next time, take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.